Hello my scrappy friends, it is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for our Advent calendar, day 2 of our Advent calendar, as well as day 2 of the Copa Cut Files 20 Days of Christmas. The prompt for today is stitching, so I have used the December stitched cut file over in the Etsy shop that I will link in the description box down below. I have stitched it up, so first I had to size it to fit on a 6x8 page, which really just means pulling everything a little bit smaller because most of the cut files are designed to go straight onto a 12x12 page. Once I had sized it the correct size, it was perfect to still work with. The cut holes for the stitching and all of that was still perfectly fine. I was ready to rock and roll. So I stitched all of these on a full piece of paper. Actually, I did cut the piece of paper down to 6x8 size, so it was easier handling, but on a full piece of paper. And then after I had finished stitching, I adhered the backs with sticky tape, all the loose strands, and then I hand cut each of the letters out. Now, the reason why I saved hand cutting till the end is because I didn't want to tear through any of those holes. I could have let my machine cut around the outside of the word and it would have been a more even and symmetrical cut, but I was really worried about having such a thin border around the outside before I've stitched that when I'm pulling the string through or anything like that, that I might end up bursting through a hole and breaking the side of the cut file, if that makes sense. So I cut it while it was all attached together in a piece of paper and then cut them out after they had all been stitched. And I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I just pulled these threads out of my collection. They are just random colours that matched the Joyful collection from Coco Vanilla Studios, which is what I am using to create Katie's beautiful December daily album. And the piece of card there that I'm backing this all to, that is an insert that came with her album. I've covered the front in full page of cover, which is that super cute Merry and Bright paper, and then another strip of those dotties down the side. And this is going to be a little insert before we go into Christmas Day. Hence why I've got that December 25 attached on there. And a few presents, because let's be honest, that's what December 25 is all about, with little kiddies. Not with big kiddies, but with little kiddies. So fiddling around with where I want things to go, and I'm deciding for which bulky item to put on there. Once I have decided the bulky item, I'm actually going to save it to adhere later, because there would be nothing worse than trying to work on the back side and having so much lump and bump. So I will pop that on later. Now, the back of this insert was already plain black, so even though it's quite a dark in-your-face colour compared to the rest of the album, I'm just going to leave it, and I have put one of the beautiful pattern pages covering the majority of it, layering up my beautiful photos, and you can see I made just a little flip there just to get some more photos onto the page. And I'm also making a type of sort of 3 flip here. It's just a really simple matter of my mat. The card that my photo is matted on just has a super tiny extra bit. It's like 1/2 inch that I just fold over, and I'm just adhering them a little bit, like touching in line with the next one's flappy part, if that makes sense. It doesn't really, but you can tell from the picture. It's a super simple way of just making a bit of a progressive sort of fold out section here, so I can add heaps more photos but still only use one page. Does add a little bit of bulk, so if your album is on the thinner side, this wouldn't be a good option for you, but Katie's album is quite fat, so I'm very lucky that I can do that. Then I went ahead and cut out all her journaling, glued that all down. It was quite a fiddly job, but I like the look of it like this. And then I am just adding a little bit of ephemera to this last little side bit here. And I also want to put the number for the number of which story this is in the page, like in the book. So I'm just adding on some flowers. This is a bit of a mixture. 99% of the collection I'm using is the Coco Vanilla Studios collection, but it's also got a little bit of the collection from last year here as well. And I've also got just a few other random bits and pieces that I am throwing in just to use some stuff from your stash as well. I love these numbers. I'm also using these same numbers in my album too. And they're just super cute and they're universal, and that's why I knew I could get away with having the black sort of poking out from behind this insert, because my sister's wearing a black t-shirt and Lincoln's jammies in the first picture are quite dark, but then the number itself also has the black 25 in it, so that is very lucky. So I'm just popping on these last little pieces of ephemera and last little additions that I want to put onto the page. Unfortunately, with my sticker sheet here, the tiny words are amazing and I love them and I will keep persisting, but they haven't quite cut through properly. So I'm having quite a little bit of trouble peeling those off correctly and getting all the like the double-sided tape or the sticky that comes with them. But we're getting there and I love them, so I will continue to just battle through that. I'll even get my scissors out and sort of cut them up a little bit as well. That will help. So just putting those on. It's amazing when you're working on this smaller scale. This is the 6x8 size that you can't, like, there's only so much you can do, especially when I have this many photos. Like this particular layout has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photos on one 6x8 piece of paper. So there's quite a lot going on. I absolutely could have made a double page spread or even a triple page spread if I felt the need, but I love the interactive element of having those kind of flip up bits and flip out bits as well. I think that's super fun. I'm just going to add a few little tabs here. That one that flips up with the picture of Katie and her family on the front, you might not know to open that one because there's nothing to really signal that you should. So I'm just putting a little tag on here just so you get the idea that it does open and you should open it, just to make sure that it doesn't get missed, because the second photo is part of the story as to what happened on their Christmas day and about their Christmas memories. So now I can put this bulky little, absolutely gorgeous little present topper onto the front of this page because I have finished. I'm conscious of the glue on the journaling not quite being dry and I don't want to ruin that, but here it is. This is how it all looks together, and I think it is super fun and it'll be a really cute page in her album. Oh, I forgot, when I was just looking at it then, I decided I didn't like that last page being blank, seeing as I'd covered every other page. So I'm fiddling through the 3x4 cards that come with the collection. I did actually cut down the photos just a bit, so I will need to trim down whatever I choose to put here. So I'm conscious of how closely it touches the edge, just to make sure I'm not going to cut off too much of the excess here. I ended up going with just a plain piece of cardstock, actually, not pattern paper, not a 3x4 card, and I cut this cute Christmas tree off the cut apart sheet as well, and that works really well because it fits on beautifully and I don't need to trim it and I don't lose any of the important bits and pieces. So I'm going to stick that on. Then I'm going to cut off this sentiment as well, all I want for Christmas, and just stick that across the front of the tree. And then I will be done. Nothing like a few last minute additions when you're checking over your page. So my plan for Katie's Advent Calendar this year is to have some elements that are interactive like these with the flips, some that are completely inside pockets, some that have things outside pockets, just a whole variety just to keep her album interesting and looking amazing. I'm super lucky. She has quite a wide album, so I've got a bit of room to work with some bulk, which is amazing. Obviously, we are participating in the 20 Days of Cut Files Hop from Copa Cut Files, and that will get a chunk of Katie's album finished, but even going in through this January, I'm going to continue working on her album and eventually complete the whole thing so that it has a universal feel to it, that it's all been made by the same person. I was a little bit worried that if I gave it to her half finished and let her finish it off, there'd be a noticeable switch between our two sort of creating styles. We are very similar, but we are also quite different. So I just think that would be a nice way to finish off Christmas and gift for her if I finish off her album. So thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you all on day 4.